Are you worried about what your kids are really doing online? Are you looking for ways to balance their screen time without all of the battles? Are you a parent looking to find the best tools to monitor and protect your kids, tweens, and teens online? Well, in this video, we're going to count down the top 8 parental monitoring apps for screens and social media that will give you great options as you think about what's best for you and your family. Do you want the best tools to monitor and protect your kids online, but just don't know where to start? In this video, we're going to talk about the top 8 apps that every parent needs to know to monitor and protect your kids online. And we're going to count them down from number 8 to number 1. Regardless of how fast the technology changes, this video will help you stay in control of screen time. Hey everyone, Jonathan Morrow here, where I help you understand culture, navigate technology, and live out a biblical worldview. If you're finding these videos helpful, do me a favor, please like, subscribe, and share these videos. That really helps me spread the word. So, are you ready to count down the top 8 most popular parental control apps for screens and social media? Then let's dive right in. So here are the top 8 screen monitoring apps for parents so that you can know what you need to focus on and what will fit your family. Now, we're going to give a high-level overview of kind of compatibility, the costs, the pros, the cons, all of these things so that you get a great picture about what's going to fit you the way that you want to parent and the devices and the age of the kids, tweens, and teens in your home. Let's dive in. Weighing in at number 8, we have FamilyTime, okay? Now, FamilyTime is a straightforward monitoring app with tools for app blocking, location tracking, and screen time limits. Okay, so this is FamilyTime. Here's what they say about it: the most powerful parental control app for kids' digital well-being. Has 4 million parents worldwide that use this. It's got live chat options, and you can kind of get a picture of what the interface looks like here. So let's dive into what are some of the benefits, some of the features, and some of the particulars about FamilyTime and how that might be a good fit for you and your family. First, here's what FamilyTime does, okay? The features. It has app blocking, which means you can keep certain apps from showing up on your kids' devices by installing FamilyTime, okay? And this app will help you monitor that. It'll also give you location history, which is a very helpful feature, and it will allow you to set screen time limits through the app for the device, okay? And those are some of the main features of FamilyTime. Now, here are the pros and cons when it comes to FamilyTime and just a high level. The pros is it's pretty easy to use. It's also affordable, okay? So those are 2 pros. On the con side, it has limited social media monitoring, okay? So if you really want to do a lot of social media monitoring and get into a lot of the details and have a lot of the features, you'll want to look into FamilyTime to see if it's going to do everything that you really want it to do. All right. Now, in terms of cost and compatibility, FamilyTime is about $27 per year, which is a good price on that. And compatibility wise, it works both with Apple and Android devices, so that regardless of what kind of phones or screens or tablets or even smartphones and watches that you have in your family, this will help you monitor and deal with both in a pretty decent way. So that's number 8. That's FamilyTime. All right. Number 7, we have Guardian. Okay. Now, Guardian is strong in text and app monitoring, and it's ideal for close communication monitoring. Okay. So what does that look like? Here's kind of the interface in terms of parental control solutions to keep your child safe. Has a lot of safety features, things like that. Now, what are some of the features that it has? Okay, it has text and app monitoring. So you're able to see what the text messages are as they come through. You're also able to monitor the apps that are there. This also gives you location tracking in terms of where your child is. And it also has web filtering, which not all of these different apps have. And so it's able to filter out some sites that you want to block. It gives you some flexibility around that. And that is a good tool if you're a mom or dad and you want to kind of keep them from getting certain places on the internet, on a certain browser, and things like that. And that's a helpful thing for you to know about. Now, in terms of the pros and the cons, is this gives you detailed monitoring options, okay, that are more specific. And that's a helpful thing. One of the cons, though, for Guardian, though, is it has limited features that are available on Apple devices. So if Apple is what you will use as a family and that's what everybody's on, this may or may not be the best tool for you, but you can check it out. You can look at all the particulars and find out. Now, here's what it does in terms of price. It's about $69.99 a year. And its compatibility, well, it's limited on Apple and it's more accessible on Android devices, okay? So that's something that you need to know. So if you're an Apple family, if all your phones are Apple, Guardian may not be the best choice for you, but that's something you need to look into because, again, like all of these different apps, they're going to have different strengths and weaknesses that kind of give you the flexibility as parents, as mom or dad, to know what you're trying to monitor, what you're trying to control or block or limit or create conversations around. And this will let you know a little bit about more what to do in that regard. And that brings us to number 6, okay? Number 6 is Canopy, okay? Now, Canopy blocks inappropriate content in real time, even within apps and social media. So there's some pretty cool things about Canopy that I want to share in terms of how that may help you and your family, okay? Now, the way they talk about this, you can see the interface here. It says, meet a safer internet with AI-powered protection. Canopy is the only solution that filters and monitors harmful and explicit content in real time. One of the benefits of that is it leverages AI, artificial intelligence, to do some real-time monitoring of what's going on in these various apps. So it's constantly learning and adapting as your child navigates and interacts with these different apps. And so there's pricing and there's different things like that, which we'll get into in a moment. But that's a unique feature of Canopy in terms of the AI element that is layered in, okay? Now, here's some benefits, some features. It gives real-time content filtering, as I just talked about. And not all apps do that, okay? Sometimes you have to wait a while, get a report, maybe something gets flagged, but this has some heightened power to do that. This also has inappropriate images and sexting detection, which is something that you can be alerted to as a parent, as a mom or a dad. If something is being sent, you can find out about that and be able to follow up and have those conversations to protect your child online. And it also has safe search enforcement in terms of how they navigate the devices, the internet, the browsers, and the various things. And those are some unique features of Canopy, and it's a really helpful app. Now, what are the pros? Okay. It has strong filtering capability. In fact, it's one of the stronger ones out there. And it has sexting detection or inappropriate image detection, which gives you some real insights as a mom or dad real time, quickly, so you can stay ahead of some dangerous situations that can be harmful to your son or daughter. Okay. Now, the cons of Canopy in many ways is just price. It is one of the pricier apps out there. But if it's doing what you want it to do, maybe that's a worthwhile investment for you and your family. So what about the costs and compatibility? Well, it's about $99.99 a year, which is on the higher side of some of these apps right now. And it is compatible with both Apple and Android, which is a plus, okay? And that's a benefit. So these are some things for you to consider as you're thinking about what's the best tool in your toolbox as a parent, as a mom or a dad, to help monitor, empower, and protect your kids online. But remember, as with all of these things, how much do you really want to be involved in the day in, day out monitoring of all these things? How much do you want the software to do for you, and how much do you want to do by having to follow up daily? Those are questions you're going to want to consider. And that brings us to number 5, Norton Family. Okay. Norton Family offers location tracking and time supervision for internet usage. Okay. This was a popular antivirus software company, and now they do more than that with the Family app. Here are some things that they talk about, where it says they provide parents with the insights they need to help keep their child safe and focused when online. Parents can see their child's search terms and viewed videos, monitor for age-appropriate content, set screen time limits, and more. And what you want to do is see if this is going to give you the tools and really the specificity that you need to tailor this for the ages of your kids, your tweens, your teens, and the devices that they monitor and the needs that they have. Okay. Now, some of the features, it gives you location tracking, so you can do that all in one. In many ways, there's Life 360 that a lot of people use, but more and more of these parental software apps are now doing the location tracking built in, plus so much more than just tracking where your child's going and how they're driving. Okay. It also gives you some options for time supervision, and it gives you some options for web monitoring, which can be very helpful. So, again, these are some things that will help you out. Now, the pros is it has good location tracking. Okay. Some are better than others in this regard. And so the industry standard on this really is Life 360. And so not all apps are as quick on some of these things as others, but this one really has a good location tracking ability on it. The cons is it does have limited Apple features. So again, if you are an Apple phone user, or for your kids or your family or a lot of Apple devices, this may provide some limitations into what you can actually do because of what's available with this software. So that's just important for you to know. Price-wise, you've got $49.99 a year, which isn't bad. Compatibility-wise, it is limited on Apple, and that's something you need to be aware of. But if you're an Android user, this could be a good option for you. But like all things, it just depends on how you want to use the app and what is your plan. But here's what you need to know. Your tool is only as good as the plan you have to put it into practice, the conversations you have, and how to do that well. And I've created a course to help you do just that, to put these tools into practice. Because honestly, it's not enough just to have one of these tools. Tools are great, but Refresh is a practical online course that I've built that helps busy moms and dads just like you confidently navigate smartphones, social media, and screen time, where it talks about the right things to monitor, how long should you set limits for, what are the kind of conversations you need to have, should you have a phone contract, how do you write one, how do you start a conversation. Go to refreshcourse.net, find out all about that, and you can learn about this course. It's really going to empower you as a mom or a dad to help take control back from the screens in your household and really lead to a healthier situation for your kids, tweens, and teens that they can grow with. And even better, if they're toddlers and you have little bitties at home and they're growing, how awesome would it be to be able to build a framework and a plan that's going to grow with them as they grow, so they grow up in a healthy screen environment and not a toxic one that's making them anxious and lonely and sad, and all the cyberbullying and the inappropriate content and all that stuff that we got to protect them from. Refreshcourse.net. I built this course just for parents. They're already giving tons of feedback on how this has been so helpful for them, about how to lay out a plan to layer in some of these tools that I've talked about. And you're going to find these really helpful. So make sure you check out refreshcourse.net for this course that I've created for you. It is the #1 parenting issue of our day because everything comes through our screens. And that brings us to number 4, okay? Ourpact. Now, Ourpact manages screen time and blocks specific apps, offering flexible device control. That's what Ourpact does, okay? Here's a picture of this. It says it's the #1 parental control and family locator app. Ourpact is the most comprehensive parental control app and family locator and is perfect for families of any size. What's great is you can see from even some of these images how it tracks some of the location pieces as well as some of these other features and benefits that we're going to talk about. So here are some of the features of Ourpact. First, it gives you screen time scheduling, so you can let them know, hey, they can be on their screens at a certain time. It'll shut off at other times. It gives you that ability beyond what's already native on an Android or on an Apple device. It gives you screen time scheduling. It also allows you to block certain apps. So if you don't want your kid on Instagram or TikTok or Snapchat, you can do that. You can block YouTube. You can do different things like that. You can block apps. And it has location tracking so that you can see where your child is and where that device is. And that's a very helpful feature to have all in one. Some of the pros for Ourpact is it's easy to set up. Not every one of these is easy to set up and use, okay? But this one tends to be pretty easy to set up. And some of the cons, though, is it does have limited monitoring when it comes to some of the social media and even online activity compared to some of the other more robust apps. So again, all of these apps are going to shine in some different ways. And so you just got to really figure out what's going to be best for your family. Price wise, about $83.88 a year. And it is compatible with both Apple and Android devices. Okay. So Ourpact does give you that flexibility for both Apple and Android as you think about your parent toolkit when it comes to technology. And that brings us to number 3, which is Net Nanny. Net Nanny filters inappropriate content and provides real-time alerts for better app control. Okay, so here is a little bit about Net Nanny in terms of their features. It says only Net Nanny uses artificial intelligence to block dangerous content the instant before your child sees it. Now, this is something that's very important for you to understand as more and more of these parental apps start rolling out artificial intelligence, where they're going to try to get ahead of some of these harmful and dangerous situations even before your child sees that. So those are some things to think about in terms of what you want to do and what you need to prioritize. And what it says is Net Nanny is the safest content filtering solution available and is accurate the instant web content is requested. So again, it's giving you some flexibility on these things and really helps you out. So what are the features? It gives you web filtering. As you would expect, it will be able to block certain sites. It will filter away harmful content. It'll take certain things out of play so they can't even get to some of these things. And that's really important as well. It gives you real-time alerts if something is happening, something's being sent, something's being seen. That's a helpful feature. It also has app blocking as well, which you can block, say, TikTok or YouTube or Instagram or whatever it is that you need to block, and it gives you some flexibility around that. Pros and cons. Really, where Net Nanny shines is excellent web filtering. So if that's kind of your number one, this is a really strong tool for that. The con, though, is it can get kind of pricey and have a higher cost for large families because you've got a lot of devices, and the cost per device begins to make this a pretty big investment. But again, we invest in a lot of things for our kids. And so if this is something you think that's really going to keep your kids safe and protected online and give you the peace of mind that you need, then maybe this is an option for you, Net Nanny. When it comes to price, it's about $54.99 a year, and it is compatible with both Apple and Android. So that's a benefit of Net Nanny as you think about the options. And again, one of the things you need to be thinking through is, what do I want this to do for me? And that's going to be a big deciding point for you and your family. And honestly, how much do you want to be involved in this? And how much do you want the software and the app to do for you? Okay. Those are big questions that you need to ask. Do you wonder if your kid is ready for social media? I want to give you a free resource. You can find the link down below in the description. 5 questions every parent must answer before giving your kids social media. I've got a PDF I've designed for you for free. You can go to refreshcourse.net and download that free PDF that will give you 5 questions you can think about as a parent, as a mom or a dad, before you give your kids, tweens or teens, social media. You really need to answer those 5 questions. So be sure to go to refreshcourse.net and you can download that free PDF I have for you. It's also in the description below. So be sure to take advantage of that free resource to help set your kids up for a healthier and safer experience online so they don't fall victim to the anxiousness and the loneliness and the depression and the comparison and the cyberbullying and all that. So go check that out, refreshcourse.net. And that brings us to number 2, which is Bark. Okay, Bark monitors messages and social media accounts, sending alerts for concerning content. So again, this is a big benefit of Bark, that it's going to send you alerts for concerning content right away in real time. So here's kind of a big picture overview of what they have. Parental controls reimagined, advanced content monitoring for all your kids' devices. You can monitor content, you can track the location, you can block websites, you can get alerts 24/7, you can manage their screen time. Hey, you get 20 minutes on Disney Plus, or you get 15 minutes on Netflix, or you can only look at something between 8 and 9 once you've done your homework, or whatever that may be. It's going to give you a lot of flexibility and control when it comes to these things. So features for Bark: it monitors texts and social media. Not all apps monitor the texts. this does, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of people like Bark. It gives you web filtering so it can block certain websites and keep them from finding things and stumbling across things they don't mean to if they search certain things, or honestly, if they're looking for certain things. And then lastly, it alerts you for concerning content, maybe bullying, maybe harmful activity, maybe sending inappropriate images. All of those things you're going to get alerts on because it's kind of monitoring that in the background for you. And that definitely is a good feature for Bark. Now, one of the pros, really great and strong at social media monitoring. Okay. That's one of the places where Bark really shines. Again, the con is it's pretty pricey once you start stacking all the devices, all the kids on this particular software. But again, we're investing in all sorts of things for our kids and all sorts of different equipment and everything else. Help protect their hearts and minds by putting some things in place so that they can have some protection online. Price wise for Bark, what you're looking at is about $99 a year, and compatibility, you've got Apple and Android devices covered. Constant updates. Bark does a really good job with that. And so this is going to give you a long-term solution in many ways for no matter what kind of devices you have, how long you want to use them, and it's going to give you a lot of specific tools and flexibility about how to apply those tools. And that's something that is a beneficial feature of Bark. And now that brings us to the top #1 most popular parental monitoring app for kids, tweens, teens, social media, and screens. So we'd have a drum roll right here. But #1 goes to Custodio. And here's what it does. It offers an all-in-one monitoring solution for screen time, location tracking, and social media. Okay. Now, there's a lot of things this does, but what it markets, it says, look, the all-in-one parental control and digital well-being solution. Over 6 million parents trust Custodio's parental controls to keep their kids' screen time safe and balanced on every device from one easy-to-use dashboard. So you can kind of see a little bit of what that looks like. It monitors the screen time, talks about what they've used in different categories, kind of the different things that it offers. And so some of the features for Custodio is it has screen time monitoring, which again, that allows you to know how much time they're spending on Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok or whatever they're looking at. It also gives you location tracking so that you know where they are, if they arrived safely, if they're on their way home, things like that. And it also monitors social media. And that gives you a great tool to do that all in one place, all in one dashboard. Now, the pros is this really is a comprehensive software. Okay. It really does a lot. It's very popular and a lot of people use Custodio. Okay. The con, again, is it's a pretty higher price, right? It's a higher price point because it is kind of that all-in-one solution and it does a lot of different things and it's putting it all in one place for a dashboard for you to look at, which is a little bit easier for you as a parent or as a mom or a dad to try to navigate. Okay. So price $54.95 a year. It depends on your devices and all those kind of things. And the good news is, from a compatibility standpoint, it gives you Apple and Android, and therefore you can use it whether you're an Apple family or you use Google phones or Samsung phones or Android phones or whatever that may be. And so that's a really important thing for you to have in your toolbox. So that is the #1 most popular parental monitoring software app for screens and social media to protect your kids online. So I hope you found that helpful. The top 8 monitoring apps for parents and how to put those into practice and maybe which one is right for your family. Do me a favor, like, subscribe to the channel, share this video with a friend, but most of all, take action, put something into practice, and go visit refreshcourse.net to find out how I can come alongside you and help us build a plan together that's going to set your family up for success and get a lot of peace and a lot of the protection that you want in your home for your kids, regardless of their age. And we'll see you in the next video.